Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Caldwell. I'm a real estate agent with PalmerHouse Properties, and I am here with Angela Schaffner, who is practicing as part of the community with Midtown Psychotherapy. Angela, in addition to being a counselor, she has also written two books, and she is also quite the badass with a black belt in Taekwondo. So, Angela, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to
Thanks
be
for
here
having
at
me.
your
I'm so glad to be here.
beautiful Midtown office.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, tell me, you recently moved to practice with this group. Can you tell me a little bit about what drew you here and what kind of services are provided?
Yeah, sure. Well, two of my colleagues here, actually several of my colleagues here that also practice at Midtown, I knew from a while back, years back when I worked at the Eating Disorder Center.
Uh huh.
We had worked together as part of a treatment team there,
Hmm.
and I was looking to reconnect with them and also just loved the environment here, the location, just everything is really accessible to clients. Clients love the environment, and
Hmm.
I was just looking to make a change after about 5 years of originally branching off into private practice at
Hmm.
the other location I was at, coming
Hmm.
out of the Eating Disorder Center. So just
Yeah.
a time of transition and looking to be a part of a bigger community here.
And so, what kind of therapy do you offer here?
Well, I do individual therapy.
Uh
I
huh.
also see couples and families from time to time.
Hmm.
Primarily, I work with individuals. I also do a group at an eating disorder center.
Uh huh.
We offer some groups here at Midtown as well,
Hmm.
and I'm not currently running one here, but it could be a possibility in the future. But I like to work with adolescents and adults
Hmm.
dealing with anxiety, depression, eating concerns, eating disorders is kind of my specialty.
Uh huh.
And so a lot of people seek me out for that.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy integrating martial arts as part of the group therapy that I do at the treatment center.
And that was another one of my
Yeah,
questions. Can you explain a little bit about how
sure.
you do that?
Yes, that was sort of a creative endeavor that I developed out of two things I was passionate about, which were, the practice of therapy,
Uh huh.
obviously being one of those, and my practice of martial arts, which began in college and then continued later as an adult. And
Uh
I
huh.
really got into it more as an adult as I pursued earning the black belts and learning so much more about Taekwondo in general.
Uh huh.
And practicing it. So as I practiced Taekwondo, I noticed in myself just becoming more confident and more comfortable in my body, and
Mhm.
just so many good things that were coming from it that I also often wished for my clients to be experiencing. So
Right.
I kind of integrated the two together. And so the way that the group looks is that I hand out boards to everyone like we
Mhm.
would use to break in martial arts, and
Mhm.
everybody in the group, excuse me, names obstacles or fears that they're dealing with and
Mhm.
writes them on the board. And then
Mhm.
I teach them some basic martial arts, strikes and kicks and things like that.
Mhm.
And everything is symbolic of facing the fears and obstacles in your life. And
Right.
eventually, clients get to a point where they're ready to break their board,
Mhm.
and I assist them in doing that. And it's usually a pretty meaningful sort of opportunity for somebody to name something that's been a really big struggle for them and
Right.
have a moment of willingness to engage with the struggle
Right.
and break the board. And often people surprise themselves by the strength that they didn't know they have.
Mm.
So
Is that do you do that, and you may have said this already, but do you do this with groups, or is
mhm.
this individual, or does it just depend?
I do it primarily in a group setting,
Yeah.
and it's great to feel the energy there of people supporting one another as they all get to different points where they're ready to break the boards. But I have done it in individual therapy as well. If
Mm.
someone
Mhm.
expresses an interest, or if I see a particularly um, there's just times where I feel like this would be a good thing for this person to do,
Yeah.
and so I
Yeah.
might suggest it or see if they're open to it.
What a neat idea.
Thanks.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So I know everybody is in a hurry these days. We want immediate results. Can you tell me,
Yeah.
like, how do you determine the time frame that someone
Right.
might need to go through therapy?
That's such a common question coming in, and it's totally understandable. I wish
Mhm.
I could give everybody an exact prescription so they knew
Yeah.
exactly how long it would take. But the nature of facing our obstacles, sometimes we come in,
Mhm.
to therapy wanting thinking that one thing is the primary issue, and
Mhm.
then we get into things in therapy and realize, oh wow, there's a couple other things that I'm needing to deal with or
Mhm.
look at differently. So because so many areas of life can be touched by the
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic process and
Mm-hmm.
unfold differently for
Mm-hmm.
individuals, that's just really hard to determine from the beginning.
Sure.
But I can usually make some sort of guess based on I do an initial assessment with people
Mm-hmm.
coming in where they tell me a lot about their history
Mm-hmm.
and what they're wanting to see happen differently in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, by what they're telling me in terms of their symptoms and how things are showing up for them,
Mm-hmm.
I can make a little bit of an estimate about how at least how often they're going to need to come. Sometimes I'll refer out to a treatment program if I think
Mm-hmm.
something more intensive than once a week therapy is needed.
Sure.
But otherwise, I just check in with clients regularly
Mm-hmm.
about how they feel they're progressing, and I'm always keeping an eye on that myself and
Sure.
having a conversation about it that's ongoing.
Yeah. 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 I figured there was no like 3 weeks and you're done
Right.
kind of answer.
Not usually. Not that someone can't benefit. I think it is possible for people to benefit even in the first session. Just
Sure.
sometimes getting everything out and just
Mm-hmm.
hearing that someone feels hope on your behalf, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe naming the struggle in a different way, or helping reframe how life could look going forward,
Yeah.
is enough to shift something in a small way for someone. And
Right.
that's what I'm always trying to create.
Yeah. I think just the ability to have somebody to talk to because
Hmm.
we don't always share with our family or our friends
Right.
what's going on in our mind and our heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, so what is one small thing that you would recommend to the community of something that
Hmm.
can make even a small impact on them and their mental
Yeah.
health?
I'm so glad you asked that. There's so many things we can do, and sometimes that's more of an individual question about what works for a particular person.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I would say things that come to mind are carving out some type of time in your day or your week that is just for you, for
Mm-hmm.
self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for some that looks like meditation or journaling
Mm-hmm.
or yoga or martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
or some way of integrating.
Yeah.
I think when we are talking about mental health concerns, often the way that shows up is a really fragmented sense of self or a lack of integration in some way. And so
Mm-hmm.
if there's anything that makes you feel more integrated between your mind and body, helps
Mm-hmm.
you feel more present and mindful.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that can look different for different people. Martial arts really helps me in that way. And I think a lot of people, but many people enjoy yoga, journaling, meditation, prayer, different things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to um, get a regular routine going. And I
yeah,
think you have to kind of forgive yourself and just keep trying, right?
yes,
Yeah.
definitely try different things. If
Yeah.
something may work for a while, and then, maybe you're going through some sort of life transition and you find
Mm-hmm.
something else that is working better for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we always have to be a little bit creative, and
Mm-hmm.
art and creativity is also a great
Oh,
outlet
absolutely. Yeah.
for emotional expression. But when it comes to emotion, many of us, I see so many people and relate to this myself, that
Mm-hmm.
we can be so intellectualized and thinking about problem solving and things logically, but
Mm-hmm.
we can't neglect our emotional selves and the
Mm-hmm.
need to be intuitive and really listen to what we're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
and you know attend to our emotional selves.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So you work here in Midtown,
Hmm.
but I know you live in my neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Leafmore Creek
Right.
neighborhood. So tell me what you like about living in that community.
I love living in Leafmore.
Yeah.
I love, really, I think it comes down to the people,
Mm-hmm.
the relationships there, the steadiness I feel by the presence of neighbors that I've
Mm-hmm.
known for years, and kind of the central location of the pool and tennis court, and the
She's right by the
gathering.
pool,
I
so
get a
prime
lucky
location. Yeah.
lucky spot there, but
Yeah.
yeah, we just seeing neighbors I know and
Mm-hmm.
always having kind of that comforting presence around me,
Mm-hmm.
I really like. And I enjoy having, places where you run into people,
Yeah. Like a
that
small town, isn't
that's
it?
almost like a small town feel, but
Mm-hmm.
there's the nature path nearby, there's the closeness to the city, that all of that I really value.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to leave.
Yes.
Yeah. So, first, two things. How can people reach you? And can you also just tell people what the 2 books are that you've written in
Oh,
case
sure.
they want to look them
Yeah,
up.
I wrote 2 books. One is on kind of integrating faith and the stories of faith as a psychologist, kind of through a psychologist lens. It's called Revealed.
Mm-hmm.
The second book that I wrote is about small group dynamics, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called Gather Us In, which
Mm-hmm.
ironically came out right during the beginning of COVID.
Oh,
And so I
wow.
was like, actually, don't gather us in. Like, think about doing that with a mask and safely. But no,
Right. Yeah.
it's but it does have a lot of my perspective on small groups and
Mm-hmm.
what makes small group dynamics work,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, that sort of thing. So um, those are the 2 books. And to reach me, people can, just check out my website, which
Mm-hmm.
is angeladschaffner.com. And all of my contact info is on there, and
Mm-hmm.
office info, and anything else I'm doing.
Oh, good. And that's on
So,
the site as well. So
yes.
thank you so
All
much.
right.
This has been such a great
Thanks so much,
conversation. It's
Amy.
good to sit on the couch with you, and I enjoy seeing your
Yes.
office.
Thanks.
And once again, I'm Amy Caldwell. I'm a real estate agent with PalmerHouse Properties. And if you would like your business to be featured on this, just look up parkbench.com/Toco Hills. And thank you so much for watching.
Thanks.